Do you ever feel overwhelmed? This is something I'm still I'm still working on myself. Yeah, have you ever felt like you have so many different things you want to do, you're trying to figure out what to do, and you end up not doing anything? There's a lot of systems in place. Uh, some people some people call it ADHD. You jump from one project to the next. I know one of one of the helpful things is to you plan, make a list, plan. Uh, I think for a lot of us, I think it's just human nature for a lot of part. We overanalyze stuff, because stuff happens, right? You start working on something and you need something else, whatever it is, whether it's physical, online. Something's broken, you have to order it, so you have to wait for that to come in for that project to be finished. So you move on to something else. You start working on something and a phone call comes up or you get distracted. Or you're doing something and it takes a little bit longer than expected, it's redundant, and you're like, man, I want to stay busy, but I can't keep doing this. So you go work on something else. It's just something that you have to be aware of. You know, I've said it before. I'm not a fan of labels. It's in some cases I think it's good. Some cases I think it's whatever. As far as like ADHD and uh, whatever we call it. Procrastination. Sometimes procrastination is good. Sometimes there's a reason that our mind, our heart, our gut is telling us, not now. And then something better comes along or an idea pops in your head and you say, "Oh, now I know how to do this." And you didn't have to sit there and beat yourself up trying to figure it out. You just let your subconscious take over and figure it out for you. That's why I like meditating, contemplating, whatever. Take time out, complete quiet, and just let your mind do whatever it does. You just sit there, and whatever your subconscious is, whatever's most pressing to you, it'll come, right? And then you'll start focusing on that, and then different ideas and thoughts, and you'll start picturing. I mean, so many times I've come up with answers to stuff, and sometimes it's taken a while. I mean, it would take several weeks of taking time to sit down for a few minutes a day. Then my conscious mind would take over, and I'm looking at whatever the project is, and then I'm like, no, that won't work. But I wait till later, and then get back into some people call it your workshop. When you get quiet and contemplate, it's your little workshop. And that works for figuring things out, whatever it is, whether it's a relationship or planning a trip or whatever. Uh, just it's you're not alone. You're not alone if you're struggling with this. There's books, there's all kinds of resources out there. You have to find what works for you. And then there comes a point when you have to accept, okay, this is who I am. I can change it to some degree, but I have to work with it. Like bouncing from one project to the other. Some people that it drives them nuts. But I don't know, it seems like for me, uh, when I get started on a project, there's always something because I have a couple of projects that I'm waiting on an inspector to come so I can finish what I've got to do. Uh, so again, and this goes back to everything else. It's in the mind. You have to take control. If you start feeling overwhelmed, stop, take a deep breath. You have to remember you have to enjoy the process, you have to enjoy the journey because what happens when you get upset? your mind starts shutting down. I mean, for me, sometimes when I get overwhelmed, I'm doing something, and because of that overwhelmness, I start, things might mess up. You drop something and you get frustrated. Then you start thinking about other things that pissed you off. This is what happens with a lot of couples and relationships. They're doing something, and something happens, they get upset, which starts just triggers something that happened a week ago. And before you know it, you're getting in trouble for something. You're like, what the hell happened? Don't do that to yourself. Stay calm. And again, it takes practice. You have to be self-aware. You have to say, okay, I'm getting overwhelmed. Let's pick something that I can accomplish quickly and get some motivation and some momentum to go on to the next thing. Whatever it might be. This applies to everything, in my opinion. It's in your mind. You have to be in control, self-aware. Take that deep breath. I know when I get anxious, when I get overwhelmed like that, I catch myself. I hold my breath, and obviously that's not good. Breathing's good. So you're not alone. Just keep trying to figure out what works for you and keep pushing forward. See, I thought about this video several days ago and just didn't take the time to do it. And then today I've got stuff going on, stuff I need to accomplish. And every time I turn around and look, I'm like, oh, I got to do that. Oh, I need to do that too. And I start working on that, and that doesn't work. And I have to go look for a tool that I can't find, and it's like, take a deep breath. It'll all be all right. As long as you keep moving forward, stay calm, center yourself back into a good place, and it's all good. Love you.